Ever tell someone you wanted to work with marine animals as a kid? I know I did. Everyone goes, ah, and pictures you
Yeah.
like training dolphins.
Right.
But today we're going past those like romanticized notions and diving deep into the real deal, becoming an aquatic animal health professional.
And you're right, it's not all playful splashes and sunshine. This is where science gets serious. It takes a unique kind of dedication and, honestly, a different skill set than most people imagine.
I'm already intrigued. So let's address the elephant, or rather the dolphin in the room.
Yeah?
A lot of people probably think SeaWorld when they hear this job title.
It's a common misconception, but you're right. While places like that DO exist, this field is way broader. We're talking fish farms, research labs humming with activity, even government agencies keeping our waters healthy. It's surprisingly diverse.
Our friends at RoleCatcher provided some resources that highlight these intriguing contradictions, almost like a reality check on what this career really entails. They talk about working with a variety of aquatic animals, which sounds amazing, but then you realize a large chunk of these professionals are dealing with fish on farms.
Exactly.
Not as glamorous as I pictured.
And it gets even more interesting. You might picture yourself jet-setting to exotic locations for field work, but the job prospects can be limited depending on where you are in the world. RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat that reality.
It's like this balancing act between passion and practicality, which I imagine is a running theme in this field.
You hit the nail on the head. And we can't forget the emotional side of it all. Imagine dealing with sick or injured animals day in and day out. Even if it's fish, that must take a toll.
That's something I hadn't really considered. You're absolutely right. It's got to be both rewarding and incredibly challenging. Okay, so let's say someone listening is still totally on board, challenges and all. What are we talking about in terms of the actual skills needed to thrive in this field? Obviously, you'd need to know a lot about marine biology and animal care, but what else?
Those are definitely prerequisites, but RoleCatcher emphasizes two things that might surprise you: critical thinking and problem solving. It's like being an animal detective. You're analyzing data, diagnosing illnesses, and making decisions that could impact an entire ecosystem.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying it's not just about knowing how to care for a fish, but also being able to look at a situation, maybe on a massive scale, and figure out what's wrong. That's fascinating. Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. Let's say you're seeing unusual lesions on a large population of salmon at a farm. You can't just apply a generic treatment and hope for the best. You'd need to analyze water quality data, review feeding protocols, maybe even consult with the pathologist to identify the culprit. It's about connecting the dots and using your head.
Wow, that's way more intense than I initially pictured. I'm starting to realize this job requires a very specific personality type. It's almost like you need to be a people person, and an animal person, right?
You're spot on. And RoleCatcher doesn't let you forget it. The guide emphasizes the importance of clear and effective communication. You're going to be interacting with farm staff, regulators, maybe even the public, explaining complex information in a way that everyone understands.
So not only do you need to be a detective, but you need to be a teacher too. That's a lot of hats to wear.
Exactly. And it highlights another crucial skill set: social perceptiveness and a service orientation. This might be a good fit for someone who genuinely enjoys teaching and helping others, both animals and people.
Okay, this career path is already way more nuanced than I ever realized, and we're just scratching the surface. So let's say all of this resonates with someone. What does that journey actually look like? How do you even become an aquatic animal health professional?
Well, luckily, RoleCatcher maps out a pretty clear career trajectory for aspiring professionals. It starts with entry-level roles, and then with experience and dedication, it can lead all the way up to executive positions.
Okay, I am so ready to unpack this career ladder. Let's dive into the specifics.
So picture this. You're fresh out of school, eager to make a difference. You'd likely start as an aquatic animal health technician.
Entry level, hands-on, got it. What does that actually look like day to day?
RoleCatcher paints a vivid picture. You're implementing sampling protocols, assisting with medications, meticulous record keeping. Basically, you're the backbone of ensuring these animals are getting top-notch care.
You're in the trenches, learning the ropes. Probably getting a healthy dose of fish-smelling grubs in the process. I bet those early experiences are invaluable, though.
Absolutely. It's where theory meets reality. And as you prove yourself, you might move up to an aquatic animal health assistant role.
Okay, so you're leveling up. What's changed?
At this stage, you're taking on more responsibility. You might conduct diagnostic tests, Things like analyzing blood work or examining tissue samples under a microscope, administering medications under supervision, and contributing to those all-important reports that guide decisions.
So it's less about following instructions and more about using that critical thinking we were talking about earlier. Like, here's the situation, what do the results tell us, and what needs to happen next?
Exactly. It's exciting, right? And from there, it can branch out even further. You could specialize in a particular species, say, focusing on the unique challenges of shellfish health, or become a go-to expert in a specific area, like disease prevention.
Wow. So you're not just treating animals, you're becoming a sought-after resource, maybe even a mentor to others in the field.
Precisely. RoleCatcher includes some inspiring profiles. One that caught my eye was this aquatic animal health specialist who teaches workshops on fish immunology to farm staff. She went from treating individual fish to protecting entire populations.
Okay, that's seriously cool. But it doesn't stop there, does it? Where does the path lead for those with, let's say, executive aspirations?
Now you're talking about the strategic decision makers. We're talking manager, director, even executive roles shaping the future of aquatic animal health. These folks are developing disease prevention strategies on a large scale, managing teams of specialists, maybe even influencing policy changes.
That's a huge leap from those early days as a technician. RoleCatcher provides examples for each stage, right? I'd love to hear what kind of impact someone at the top of their game can have.
There's a fantastic quote from an aquatic animal health director who spoke about working with international stakeholders to establish best practices for sustainable aquaculture. They're literally shaping the future of how we interact with aquatic ecosystems.
That's incredible. It really drives home the point that this isn't just a job. It's a career with real potential for growth and impact. But I'm guessing even reaching the top doesn't mean you stop learning, does it?
Not a chance. This field is constantly evolving. And RoleCatcher stresses the importance of continuous learning, even highlighting the value of certifications, like the Aquatic Animal Health Certification. It shows you're dedicated to staying on the cutting edge.
Speaking of cutting edge, one thing I found really intriguing in this guide was the mention of how technology is shaping the future of aquatic animal health. I feel like we can't talk about NY's scientific field these days without acknowledging the role of technology.
It's true. RoleCatcher highlighted new diagnostic tools and treatments emerging all the time, while the specifics weren't outlined.
Ah, come on. Don't leave us hanging. What kind of tech are we talking about? Spill the tea.
Huh? I know, right? I wish there were more details. But even without them, we can make some educated guesses. Imagine using genetic analysis to identify disease resistance in fish populations, or developing underwater sensors that monitor water quality in real time and alert you to potential problems before they even arise.
Okay, now that is next level stuff.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like science fiction. I can see why someone in this field needs to be a lifelong learner. What other cool tech can you imagine impacting this field?
Well, one area that's showing incredible promise is the use of artificial intelligence to analyze vast data sets of fish behavior. Imagine being able to spot subtle changes in swimming patterns that could indicate the early stages of a disease outbreak. We could potentially prevent widespread epidemics.
Whoa, that goes way beyond treating individual animals. You're talking about safeguarding entire ecosystems. That's a heavy responsibility, but also an incredible opportunity.
Exactly. And it brings us to another crucial point that RoleCatcher emphasizes. It's not just about fancy tech and groundbreaking discoveries. The future of aquatic animal health also hinges on something much simpler.
Okay, don't keep me in suspense. What's the simple thing that's just as important as cutting-edge technology?
It boils down to people.
People.
Passionate, dedicated people who are willing to put in the hard work and advocate for these animals. You can have all the AI and underwater sensors in the world, but without skilled professionals who understand the nuances of aquatic ecosystems, those tools are practically useless.
You're so right. We often get so caught up in the what's next that we forget about the human element. So it sounds like someone entering this field needs a solid dose of both. A fascination with science and technology, A&D, a deep love for animals and the environment.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And let's be real, it's probably that deep-seated passion that drew you to this deep dive in the first place.
100%. It's been fascinating to go beyond the surface level and really unpack what it takes to succeed as an aquatic animal health professional. It's clearly not just a job, it's a calling.
Absolutely. And like any calling, it comes with its own set of challenges and rewards. But for the right person, someone who thrives on solving complex problems, who's deeply moved by the health of our oceans, and who's excited to be at the forefront of scientific discovery, this career path offers incredible opportunity to make a real and lasting impact.
Well said. For anyone listening who's feeling that spark, that this is me kind of feeling, I highly encourage you to check out the resources from RoleCatcher that we've been dissecting today. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one pioneering new treatments, advocating for policy changes, or inspiring the next generation of aquatic animal health professionals. The future of our oceans might just depend on it.
I completely agree. And on that note, I'd say we've successfully navigated this deep dive.
Until next time, keep those brains curious and those hearts passionate about the incredible world of aquatic life.